resides in a real kind of intellectual and conceptual space. We moved away from the term blog, and people were excited about the idea of, oh wait, I can publish to the online easily now and own it and export all my stuff. What a different experience. And I'm not even blogging. But they are. Right? So there's UMW blogs. And it's become a really pretty impressive thing. We have 4,000 students at UMW. We have about 250 professors. In May 2008, and this is right after the time Mario and I started kind of playing, he was doing Rum blogs, which is an amazing installation of WordPress multi-user as well. And I was doing UMW blogs at Mary Washington. And that's how we came into contact. And that's amazing to think about these communities. These communities, I didn't have to necessarily go to someone in my university. I could come to someone in Mayagüez, Puerto Rico, who I'd never met, who I didn't know from Adam, and say, hey, Mario, how are you doing this? And he could ask me the same question. And there's a different sense of community there. It's a horizontal community where there's a bunch of people out there sharing ideas and doing their work openly and transparently. Right? And it doesn't have to be acclaimed that to be. Now, our numbers. Well, in May 2008, we had 1,151 blogs and 1,300 users. October 2008, we had 1,600 blogs and 1,900 users. As of April 24th, 2009, almost up to the date, we have 2,200 blogs and 2,700 users. That's an amazing growth. And what we're seeing is interesting. Because we're not seeing simply professors using it for course sites, although we're seeing a lot of that. We're not simply seeing it cat blogs, although there's a cat blog there too. We're not simply seeing it for political blogs, though there's some political blogs. What we're seeing is everyone is using it for a different reason. People are using it for presentation sites. People are using it for clubs and organizations. We had never imagined. Student affairs came to us and they're like, this is amazing. All this stuff we were trying to get out there and publish ourselves, students are doing for their own, on their own, and we're just able to aggregate it to show this is what's happening with students right now. Students who are going overseas, they all start blogs. There's a student right now in Turkey who's blogging her work, who's taking awesome pictures of the country, and student affairs and international affairs. This is amazing. This is stuff they would kill themselves to do regularly, that students are just doing of their own volition. Why? Because it's easy and it's theirs. And that's the difference. You make it simple and you tell people, we love you, we respect you, it's yours, and it changes. It changes a lot. So, how are we doing this? Well, we're doing this with the syndication network, what I'll call the syndication bus. All right? And what is a bus? Well, the syndication bus, if you don't have time to read that, I understand, is really kind of an interesting idea. And I may not have time to do the demo trick, the magic trick, which I love to do. But I'm going to show you how it works quickly. Right? So let me go out of here. This is a site on UMW blogs. Let me go to the Blogfesores. Okay. So if this works, great. So here's a site on UMW blogs. This is where my presentation is. So if you ever need to see it, you can watch all those cool videos and say, oh yeah, I didn't understand what he said, but he showed a lot of good videos. Okay. So anyway, let me give you an idea of how this might work. Right? And it's pretty simple. So, you're a student. You have a blog. It doesn't have to be a UMW blog. It can be on Blogger. It can be your own hosted blog. It can be on WordPress.com. It can be a Drupal site. It can be a Joomla site. It can be anything with an RSS feed. RSS feed being the key here. Well, you would go to a site, and you'd see in this site this little thing right here. Add URL. And what would happen? You'd add that URL, and your posts would automatically be republished here. So wherever you're doing your work, they're immediately republished in this space. What happens in that regard is that you still keep your own work, you do it wherever you want, you post it, but you can create these quick and easy course forms. So all the work happening comes here for a particular course. You can even tag it so only certain posts come in. This also happens with necessarily depend on UMW blogs or WordPress mobile users. What this depends upon is reimagining the web. What I mean by this is syndication becomes the key. As long as you're writing in a space that can be syndicated out, that means what you're doing, wherever you're doing, can be shared back immediately. For example, if a student's working on WordPress.com, they share their site, and it comes into a course log. They own it, but we can have it right then and there. What's cool is you have this list. You can subscribe to that one course log, and you get all the different posts which will lead you to this great site. So the permalinks, or that title, leads back to the original post. What it becomes is a very quick way to aggregate content from all over the web into one quick and easy space. And that, to me, is the revolution. The revolution is premised on syndication and allowing people to do it in their own space, but share it back easily. Now, let me show you some examples here. And I would like to give you actually, you know what? If you want, anyone who has a blog over the course of the day, add your URL to that site. And you'll see, if you go back and look, it's all pulled in seamlessly. And what will happen is, we'll have a running kind of blog space with all your work, whatever you want to share. It's fascinating to me, and it's been a kind of the backbone of a lot of the work we've been doing. This is what I call the revolution bus. You like the image? I'm all about the images and video. I know, that might be circus, but... Okay, how does it work? Well, it's pretty simple with what we're doing. We're just creating a blog within UMW Blogs that captures every post within the space. So, for example, see this blog here? This blog is called Progress. It's a post by a student. And you'll see the student's name is Kayleese. You may not be able to read that, but it's Kayleese. Now, this is the kind of course blog. It's pulling in seamlessly. But this isn't where the student wrote the post. The student wrote the post on her own blog here, Progress, Kayleese. But what happened is she shared her feed. And what she did for that course, immediately republished into that course portal, to think of it in a way. Now, we're doing this through bringing all the posts throughout the University of Mary Washington Blogs project, as well as anyone who shares a feed from any other site. We're bringing it all into one big page. And so, if they start using specific tags, like 08 Pern 299, and this is where library science becomes key in my mind. This is where archiving becomes key, and this is where the kind of understanding of tags, the understanding of metadata, really starts to make this information useful, understandable, right? And allows us to kind of do this intelligently. Because if you have a bunch of professors and instructional technologists running around trying to do this without librarians, we're doomed. We're absolutely doomed. We need to think about this in some kind of taxonomical, intelligent way. And so what we're doing is we're coming up with unique tags for classes, so that as students write posts, they'll tag that post a particular way, and it will go to the right course site. Hence, we have a collection of feeds based on tags. Now, this is the kind of syndication revolution that can happen anywhere. It doesn't take UMW Blogs to do it, but syndication in RSS is the backbone through which it runs. Now, is aggregation the only way? For me, it's the backbone of making this stuff happen and sharing. But there's a ton of different ways. Group blogs. We have some really impressive group blogs. Here's e-portfolios. How many of you heard